There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac, welcome back. Today I'm going to hopefully briefly review a novel that I just finished a couple days ago. It's called My Absolute Darling by Gabriel Tallent. This is the UK hardcover, which I love the cover about 1,000 times more than the American cover. This is the main character. Look at that portrait. That is her. I have almost no notes for this review because my reaction to this book is so emotional that I'm just going to rant for hopefully only for a few minutes. This is Turtle. Her name is Turtle. Her real name is Julia. Her dad calls her Kibble, so there's a lot of names, but it's mostly Turtle. Odd name, odd girl, semi-feral, living on the California coast with her father, Martin. He is a survivalist. One thing that I thought was missing from the novel is I didn't get a really clear sense of what that entailed. He had some opinions, he had a lot of guns, but was there a network? What was it all about? Anyway, there's a lot going on here. This is a polarizing book. I would encourage you, if you have any reservations, it's very violent, sexually violent, abusive family dynamics to the most extreme degree. If that gives you any pause, please pause, read a bunch of reviews. I would recommend, as somebody who I disagree with, but has written disagree with in part, but who has given an extremely thorough and fair review, if you don't mind kind of a spoilery review, and that would be Roxane Gay's review on Goodreads. I agreed with 60% of what she wrote, but it didn't affect how much I enjoyed the book. The part that I disagreed most strongly with was she said that the character of Turtle was not fully realized, and I couldn't disagree more. That's why I love this novel. It was because of the character of Turtle, this 14-year-old girl in this horrendously, unimaginably abusive family situation, was so well drawn, and I got hooked to her in an emotional way from almost the first page, and rooted for her like I can't remember rooting for a character in literature for years. So that's what kept me going. And yes, there is a lot of terrible stuff to read about that's explicitly described, and if that kind of thing is a trigger or you're not sure about it, read some other people's reviews or do your due diligence, because this may not be for you. I'd say of the women's reviews I've seen on BookTube or on Litsy or anywhere, maybe 60 to 70% have been as enthusiastic as mine is, but if check out a bunch of stuff if you need to. Otherwise, this was a powerful, compulsive novel, and Turtle is so, I gotta put it down, it's a little heavy. So she lives in this terrible old house, and she doesn't get along. She has trouble at school because she's kind of like semi-feral, and she's very lovable, and her father is like, he's such a misogynist that it's almost a caricature. And one of the flaws, this novel has many flaws, one of them I think is that Martin, the dad, it's almost too much, and I don't mean what he's capable of doing, because he is an evil monster of a man, but the totality of his character didn't quite ever cohere for me. It felt a little cartoonish at times, but the dynamic between him and his daughter is so fascinating and painful to read, and how she has taken in so many of his beliefs about women, his misogyny, and the way her self-talk is often misogynistic in the way she thinks about and experiences other women in the novel, and how there's another voice inside her, that healing voice that wants to grow and free herself from this situation and become someone new and better. That was just so heartrending for me. So I'm going to read you, and then I'm just going to shut up. Other than that, I'd like to share a couple paragraphs from the first couple pages. So this is Turtle and her dad Martin in the kitchen. Page 2. Her daddy opens a can of Bush's beans on the old stove and strikes a match on his thumb to light the burner, which gutters and comes slowly to life. burning orange against the dark redwood walls, the unvarnished cabinets, the grease-stained rat traps. The back door off the kitchen has no lock, only holes for the knob and deadlock, and Martin kicks it open and steps out onto the unfinished back deck, the unboarded joists alive with fence lizards and twined with blackberries, through which rise horsetails and pig mint, soft with its strange peach fuzz and sour reek. Standing wide-legged on the joists, Martin takes the skillet from where he hung it on the sprung clapboards for the raccoons to lick clean. He cranks the spigot open with a rusted crescent wrench and blasts the cast iron with water, ripping up handfuls of horsetail to scrub at problem places. Then he comes in and sets it on the burner, and the water hisses and spits. He opens the lightless olive green refrigerator and takes out 2 steaks, wrapped in brown butcher paper, and draws his Daniel Winkler belt knife and wipes it across the thigh of his Levi's and sticks each steak with the point and flips them one by one onto the skillet. Turtle hops onto the kitchen counter, grainy redwood boards, nails encircled by old hammer prints. She picks up a Sig Sauer from among the discarded cans and slivers back the slide to see the brass seated in the chamber. She levels the gun and turns around to see how he takes this, and he stands leaning one big hand against the cabinets and smiles in a tired way without looking up. So that sets the scene. This is Turtle's home life. There's a lot of beautiful writing about the natural, about nature, the surrounding wilderness around their house and the shoreline, and oh my god, that's gorgeous if you're into nature writing. But you have to also there's a lot more than just nature writing in the book. And then let me close with a passage about Turtle's inner life. She waits, and her waiting and her silence is discipline in the stead of real sorrow, and still she goes down into it, her cheek to the floor, breathing slowly, hours passing, and each hour like the first, each breath like the last, watching the silver fish wander the linty cracks between the boards, some sensitivity that she has long kept in abeyance, awakening within her, and she can feel it, that gathering of pain, but it plays with her a game of red light, green light, and when she looks at it, it is far away and unmoving. But when she suspends her mind, lying there on the floor and gazing across the boards, but not thinking, then she can feel it grow closer until it is all through her, the sorrow replete in the unattended emptiness of her mind, like wild radishes blooming in an empty lot. It has found whole parts of her that she did not know she had. This book grabbed me by the collar and wouldn't let go. I'm going to say one potentially spoilery sentence characterizing the ending without really talking about what happens. So just fast forward 20 seconds here if you don't want to even hear the simile with which I characterize the ending. But here goes. The climax was ridiculous. It was so like a Hollywood action movie, and I just thought it was overkill. And it was like he was writing this for the Hollywood movie deal he hopes is coming, and that's the only time that he really lost me. So that knocked it down from a 5-star read to a 4-star read. But you may not have that problem with the ending. That aside, this was one of the most compelling novels I've read in years. And with all of the qualifications and cautions that I've put into this review, I highly recommend it. What did you think of it? Thanks for stopping by.